Hey guys, welcome back for one last time to the Aquatope on White Sands breakdown. This is it. This is episode 24. I have broken down 24 episodes of the Aquatope. It's been one hell of a journey, and I also can't believe that I've been talking to you guys about Aquatope for 6 months, half a year, 2 seasons of anime. I have spoken to you about this anime. Let's discuss the final episode, what I thought and what happened. I will then give you my final score for the series as a whole and my final thoughts. Before we get going, make sure you are subscribed. I have officially done it. I have scheduled it to go up on Friday, tomorrow, in fact. My end of season review for fall 2021 is done. It took an entire day. I gave myself one hell of a headache. It hurt. But it's done, it's ready to go up. And I had a bit of trouble putting the list together, and you'll have to check the video out for me to actually explain why. In the same video, that is going to be my future for the channel as well. What animes are coming your way next season. And I'm happy to report I have 4.5 because 86 spoiler has bled over into the next season, so there's going to be 4 breakdowns for 86, but that means there's basically 4 new anime coming to the channel for me to break down with you guys, so make sure that you are ready for that. There's a Discord channel too that I'll give you a notification whenever a video drops, in particular when that video goes up on Friday, and I can't wait to share with you my thoughts for this anime season as a whole. Let's get to it, because I had a lot of predictions and my prediction was correct. Yes, we did the thing that Becca predicted. I predicted there would be a time skip and a reunion. I knew it would happen. Although the reunion on the White Sand bit happens beforehand, I predicted they would reunite in the dome at the end. They don't. They do it in a slightly different order, but all the elements I predicted are there. We actually enter on a stocking montage of the White Sand Dome getting all of its inhabitants. The only little thing I would want to remark on, most of these things were correct. The chilling of the fish as they arrive and everything. This is correct. Most fish arrive in a slightly colder temperature, so they are slightly more dormant and it doesn't stress them out as much. The only thing I don't quite think would be 100% accurate, and it could be wrong in marine. If we get a delivery of fish, all of the fish, we have to float them for about half an hour. So they get 15 minutes. You then put a bit of the water they're going into the environment that they're currently in, and then you release them. This just allows them to acclimatize a little bit easier to the water you're about to dump them into. In this, we do actually see them just going straight into the tank. That's the only thing I would pick them up on. But apart from that, everything else looks 100% accurate. At this point, we do get a nice little look at all of the characters helping out and interacting with one another, excluding Kai, who was at this point was taking work off for his dad. We do happily see him a bit later. Happy that he didn't vanish and they didn't rule him out. But we are going to end this time period, before we do go into the time skip, a wedding. A wedding in the style of Gamma Gamma, which is even better. They met at Gamma Gamma and they wanted those hints of Gamma Gamma all over their wedding. Even though it's at Tingara, there's a lot of things that hark back to our little aquarium. Continuing the theme that the entire anime as a whole was trying to emphasize was the fact that one little thing can inspire so much, and so many lives can be touched by just one tiny little aquarium at the end of the day. We've reached to all of these things, and you never really know how far these things have reached. Tingara gets its first wedding in its new venue, and it goes down pretty well. I do like the making all of the guests a sea creature that the couple have associated them with. This I really, really like. I have dibs on being a manta ray or a ray of some sort. I think rays are absolutely fantastic. Or a sea cucumber. I'd like to be a sea cucumber or a ray. Preferably a ray. I think it's a really, really clever idea and I like it. And I also think it's a nice, clever idea, feeding the fish just to get them all to be in one place at one time for the picture opportunity. Fantastic move. I tend to do that if I am doing a talk on fish at my place. If there's a kid there and I know they want to see fish, generally the food comes out because it really does help put them in the same place. A few wrap-ups, Gramps and Cuckoo, when Cuckoo actually asks him, was there ever a time you felt bad and you felt down? And the actual answer he does give is yes, he did. The only advice that he really does give, and it really comes down to follow your heart. You already know what the answer is going to be. Trust in yourself and make the path that you choose the right path. We do get a nice wrap up for the supernatural event. I did hope we were going to see this. It seems to be a nice nod in the idea that Cuckoo is going in the right direction and she's also being looked after, because we see her full-on family. All of Cuckoo's family is departed, which is really, really sad at the end of the day. Nice to see that the event isn't just limited to Gamma Gamma, it's limited to wherever water can be found, because water was a very key player in the first series, mainly the first series as a whole. I need to go through the second series again and try and do the same links, but water was the key thing. All of the characters had slightly blue hairs, there was blue eyes, there's a lot of hidden elements that you need to look out for which hint at the idea of blue and water. Fuka does witness this account too, whether it's the idea of coming full circle and them both seeing the events, and these events aren't just limited to their family or the person that is being shown these events sees. But it is a nice return to the supernatural element to bid us farewell. But this is when, of course, the time skip is about to kick in, because Fuka is now leaving on her 2-year journey. Did feel like it was full circle as well, with her leaving but not coming back this time round. There was no one running back off the plane. This time she gets on the plane, heading out, looking forward for her future. Cuckoo too looks up but doesn't look unhappy. They are both happy that they're taking on their particular paths. So we get our time skip. I'm so happy I predicted this. I knew they'd do a time skip. It just made sense to have it wrap up right at the end. We do get a slight montage of the two working towards their dreams, and the idea is that there is no actual answer. There's never a correct answer. It's only what you make of it, as the two simultaneously talk about their experiences as they go forward. Which is where we come to our closing section, which is post-time skip, and seeing that Cuckoo has actually grown her hair out just a little bit, as opposed to Fuka, who removes a bit of it. Cuckoo is now in marketing, but she seems to have climbed a rung or two in this, which is quite cool. It is given to us that Cuckoo is also doing attendant work on the side, and that is when we get the thing that a few of us were considering, rumbling, those rumours floating around in the comment section. Cuckoo at one point could be tapped to be director. We all had this in our minds. We all figured that was the ultimate goal at the end of the day. Cuckoo is being able to do both the marketing and both the attendant work, so she has a role in both of the pots, being able to do both of them, which is good for her. I can imagine it would be quite difficult to be able to do both for a person who wasn't aimed at being a director or anything. I can imagine it's not as easy as it's shown to do both. Furthering on the director and Cuckoo relationship, we have a updated nickname to Necton, which is just an evolution on Plankton, but these guys can actually swim about, actually do swim and have the ability to try and get out of the way, even though these things are still quite small. It just shows you how the relationship has changed and how he sees her in his eyes, that she's grown up just a little bit. Doesn't really make me like him. I still don't like him at the end of the day, but that is our tie-up, that loose end. That loose end is now dealt with. Kai comes back, and we do see that he has become an attendant, and he is attending the Penguins, so whether he ended up as Fuka's replacement. Note that some of the Gamma Gamma crew now have juniors. Cuckoo has a junior now. Toya has one as well. He's picked up someone who he also knows. I think it was given to us in season 1. Can't quite remember it. A nice tie-off to the Penguins too. Choco and Shiratama are in love, which actually unites two of the Aquarians, because Shiratama was Tingara's first hatchling, and Choco came from Gamma Gamma. That's quite nice that they have that tied up at the end as well. Marina ends up attendant to the otters, so whether Kai took her role or Fuka's role, I do like the fact that she uses bribery to get them on her side. Bribery is the best thing when it comes to animals. I always give people the advice when they're purchasing an animal is just first few weeks you need to get that animal associating you with pleasant things, good things. They need to see you as a source of happiness, not fear or anything. Giving them food, giving them snacks is a good way of getting them quite quickly onto your side. It is nice to see that Udon is working as a chef at Tingara. This I already knew was going to happen, because she initially says, my contract's ending and it's now a secret. And I was like, oh, okay, you're coming to work for Tingara then, but you just don't want to tell anyone because it's going to be shocking for a bit later on. It's nice to see her back, because she did do a lot of work with Gamma Gamma back in the first season. As predicted, we have the reunion of Fuka after 2 years, uniting both the Aquatope project with the White Sand project. That was a big thing for Cuckoo. We essentially get our roll credits. We can spy that Fuka has cut her hair, and the two end up meeting in front of the place where I think it began, in front of the shrine. I did think the shrine initially was on the beach, but I could be wrong. Now inside this overgrown forest, and the two are there and they have a embrace, essentially marking the end of the series. That is the story. That is the story of the Aquatope on White Sands. That was 24 episodes. One hell of a roller coaster, a lot of twists and turns, but what did I think and what am I going to score it? Before we give Becca's score, I'm going to give you the consensus score, the My Anime List score. The score currently on My Anime List is 7.4. My score is coming in at about a 7.5. Probably equally matched me and My Anime List. At some point, I was getting closer and closer to dropping it to about 7.2. It wrapped up okay, and at the end of the day, it told a solid story. Best points for this anime, mainly in season 1. Perhaps season 1, perhaps for me, was the strongest point. Was the symbology, lots of links going on. The anime was gorgeous. There's lots of beautiful scenes. Wasn't so much the case in season 2. They seemed to veer away from the aesthetic and look more into the story and what was going on. There were a few episodes that just weren't pleasant to watch for me personally. As I told you guys often enough, I kind of wanted different from the anime, which is something I realise I can't actually mark it down on not living up to my expectations. I feel like if they had done more with it, my score would have probably been higher with the anime. At the end of the day, it tells a solid story. It is consistent. It tells you a story that life is full of ups and downs. It can get pretty low at times. But I think the moral of the story at the end is just you need to follow your own heart and you need to make the path that you end up on right for you, even if initially you don't think it is. I think that's the story it was giving us. We did start going to more conservation and environmental issues towards the end of the second season. I wouldn't have minded these to be a bit more littered throughout the entire season as a whole, because the anime is one of the few animes out there that does focus on sea life and the environmental problem that humans can cause. Very happy that it's an anime that does touch on it at the very most. I think it does do its good job at driving home a message. I did enjoy the anime despite not really liking season 2 very much. It was overall a good anime. If the second season had been better, I could have imagined it going closer towards 7.8. But at the end of the day, 7.5 is still a pretty decent score. I think the few other animes that have ended this season have all had around this score. I think one got a 7. A very interesting anime season, and I don't want to spoil too much for my video coming out tomorrow. I think it was a nice story. I think it was a good story. It was a unique spin in the anime world of looking at something that we haven't really seen done before. I don't think there's any other anime that focus on aquariums. I could be wrong, but I feel very strong that the only few that cover this niche gap in the market when it comes to aquariums. Thank you guys so much. At the end of the day, you are the ones who have stuck with me for 24 episodes, listened to me ramble for 24 episodes, and that means a lot to me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in each week. I hope my score wasn't too different from your scores. I think I was quite fair with my one. So I will see you again, hopefully next season, for one of the 4.5 anime that I am breaking down. I really hope that something I have chosen piques your interest. For animes that are quite unique, there is a returning one. Have a good day, guys. Make sure you look after yourselves, and I will see you hopefully in the future. Have a good day, guys. Bye bye.